It's so hot, Sam. That was a Holes reference, if you didn't know. But it is very hot in this room, like right now. Like I don't have the fan on, the AC's not on or anything like that since I'm shooting a video. But it's hot. My God. Also, I love how I made a Holes reference to start off a Lost video, especially for Lost Month, nonetheless. But how can we connect that in some way? I got nothing. She's being stranded, I guess. She was stranded on the desert. They're stranded on an island. Right. Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. This is Cameron, and welcome back to another Entertainment Talk video. And this Entertainment Talk video is a special one, and that one being, once again, it's for Lost Month. Oh, yeah. In this video, we'll be discussing Lost and the simple question of what is the best season in the series. It's a pretty widely discussed question among fans, and it's really interesting to me to see different people's opinions and how they vary and who thinks what season's better than the other. And, you know, like some people think season 1 is the best, some people think season 4 is the best, so what is the best season? Which is why I figured I would share my personal opinion on what the best and worst seasons of the series are. As well as doing this, I'll be giving my opinion on pretty much every single season, so let's get into it. But first, this video will contain spoilers regarding the TV series Lost, so if you've never seen the show and you care about spoilers, then please step away. You have been warned. Each season of Lost is extremely different from the other, which is common with most TV series, but this one was the most drastic in my opinion, as the show started with mystery and intrigue of the island's inhabitants and possible monster lurking in the jungle, to eventually exploring elements of time travel mythology instead, towards the end of the show. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, let's roll. What is the best season of Lost? Let's go. So before we get into it, I should quickly state the fact that I honestly love every single season of this show. In one way or another, I like each season in different ways, and there's certain seasons and certain things about each season that I don't like. So I should really state that, because nothing in here will be like, oh, it's the worst season, I hate it. No. There are seasons that I do think are worse than others, and there is, in my mind, a certain set season that is the worst, but that doesn't mean I hate it by any means, it just means that it is still my least favorite. First of all, we're going to talk about what I think the worst season of the show is, and that is Season 6. Now don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great things in this season. You know, you have the final you have the closing of the series, the emotional moments, you have everything it all comes down to, you know? Jack finally realizing his purpose, Jack becoming the new protector of the island, you have a lot of the stuff that's leading up to basically the mythology behind Jacob and the Man in Black, why there's protectors of the island, what these characters mean and what their significance were. You finally realize why the people were on the island this whole time, why the survivors got there in the first place. But some of the problems that I did have with this season was everything at the temple I just never cared for. I did not understand the point of these episodes that were so dragged on, just literally dragged on for I don't know, what was it, 4 episodes dragged on in the temple, and just I never cared for that aspect of it. I just always thought it was a little lackluster. And then as much as I love the mythology behind Jacob and the Man in Black, the smoke monster part of it was not Lost's finest hour. Seeing how the smoke monster came to be, it was just I don't understand. That's the one thing in the show that I will never get, is how the Man in Black goes into this tunnel and becomes the smoke monster. I don't know if it's supposed to be a darkness that was lurking on the island, and basically whoever went down there, I got nothing. I don't even know. If you have any ideas on that, you can let me know in the comments, because that's the one thing about the show that I've never understood. But that's my opinion on Season 6. It's okay, you know. Like I said, I don't hate it by any means. There's some things about it I like. I love the finale, but just the first few episodes of the season, there just is not much going on, in my opinion, and everything at the temple just never intrigued me that much. But seeing a lot of the mythology was still cool. The next season we're going to talk about is Season 3, a season that I never really thought was terrible, but never thought it was great either. Here's my problem with Season 3. So around this time, you know, the writers of Lost were trying to push the fact that they wanted shorter seasons. They thought they could tell their story, and they knew they could tell their story in a better way with less episodes. Not less seasons, sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. In shorter seasons, I got confused for a second. Shorter seasons, less episodes. It's like a 15-episode season compared to 20 to 25 episode seasons that we had seen for the first 2, and then the third was also that many. But this is very clear because ABC did not want this, and then Season 3 became such a dragged out mess, in my opinion. You have so much filler between Jack and the whole tattoos plot with that girl, what was it, Achara, however you say it. You had that, you see how Desmond's a monk, and there's just a lot of backstories that just weren't intriguing anymore. And just as they made that transition from flashbacks to flash forwards, it was definitely very obvious that they were running out of ideas really quickly. And I never was too intrigued by a lot of what was happening in those episodes, but then you have some amazing episodes and stuff with the Dharma Initiative, like how the others took them over, seeing how Ben basically took them over. That was fucking awesome. And seeing a lot of the stuff with the others and how what everything came down to in this final battle between the others and the survivors, leading into season 4 with the freighter team. Like, honestly, great main plot, great things happening, just too much random side things. Like, even stuff where Hurley, gets the car started up. I'm just like, the Dharma Initiative van, when it gets it started up, I'm just like, what's the point? Like, I never was really too intrigued by a lot of what was happening in season 3, in my opinion. In those episodes, I love the main plot of it, like I said, but then you have stuff like Nikki and Paulo, and you're like, get this shit out of here. But no, season 3 is by no means awful, just some pretty weak moments. But overall, you have seasons, like season 1 and 2 had similar episodes that were kind of like that, but they were just done a lot better, where it didn't feel so much as filler. It just felt like things happening on the island. It didn't feel like forced filler. So that's my view on 3. I feel like the end of 3 was amazing, but it's very slow at the beginning. Next up, we're gonna talk about season 5, which in my opinion is kind of like middle ground. Not a bad season, but not one of the best seasons either. Season 5, honestly, I don't have too many complaints about it. It's hard for me to cope with anything. The time travel thing, I loved it. I loved the back and forth between going off the island and showing what's happening with the people who got off the island, and going to the Dharma Initiative, or the people that were left behind eventually being the Dharma Initiative, and traveling through time. Like, that stuff was awesome. Like, I loved seeing that back and forth. This was a really good season, and I would put it in my top 3, but honestly, I just like the other seasons, which are still left, 1, 2, and 4, a little bit better. But overall, 5 was great. You get into a lot of the mythology, the time travel. You have a lot going on, but it still seems to flow pretty well. It doesn't get too confusing as long as you're following it, and 5 was a pretty great season. Another middle ground season that was kind of, like I said, not great, not terrible, is going to be season 2. I've actually liked season 2, and I used to like season 2 actually better than my 2 favorites, which are going to be 1 and 4, obviously. But the thing about season 2, as I've rewatched it over the years, is I've noticed it's very slow. And slow is usually not bad, it means story, but I've noticed a lot of it is just like, you'll have kind of sort of a cliffhanger, and then you just have like a meaningless episode full of just random banter, random dialogue that's kind of leading up to things, but it just keeps dragging it out. And a lot of people had this complaint about season 3, and I had that complaint about season 3, like I have sort of said. But with season 2, I've noticed it more over the years, and it is a great season. You have the hatch, everything in the Swan, as they're living in the Swan, is amazing. You have more stuff with the others, as Michael betrays the survivors and, tries to get his son back. And I love those plot lines, like I talked about with my last episode, my last entertainment talk about the daddy issues, parental issues in the show with the father. Michael's one of my favorite characters. That's something I discussed, and I've always felt bad for him. I liked that whole plot line of how he'll do anything to get his son back. But you have great episodes with great plot lines, but then you always just have a few that are just random, like nothingness, and just not much happening. And the difference between this and 3 that I will say is that whereas 3, had just kind of like random episodes where it's like there's no plot, it's just kind of there for filler. Now these episodes feel like they had a place in the series, just not much was happening. Like there's just very slow moving scenes, mainly dialogue. Like the whole episode with Kate and the horse just didn't seem like it had too much of a place besides a little bit of character development. But that's just my take on 2. I love the finale of 2. I love Desmond. I love how that season opened. There's many things I love about 2, but it's not my 2 favorites. Now, my second favorite season of all time is going to be season 4. Now, I personally don't have any problems with season 4. I love it. For a while, this was my favorite. At first I said it was 2, then 4. Now season 1 is obviously my favorite, and I'll discuss that in a second. But season 4 is amazing in my opinion. Everything with the freighter, the mercenaries, seeing how Ben is finally like a real character with real emotion throughout this season was fantastic. He's not just, like this mindless like killer who has no sympathy, and this time we have sympathy for him, which I sort of discussed in my Retrospect Lounge Top 10 Best Moments in Lost episode. Check that out if you haven't, because I kind of talk all about Ben and how, with the scene where his daughter dies, which is a very emotional scene. But you get into more lore with the Dharma, you get into more lore with the island itself, you finally hear about this mysterious person, Jacob, who is kind of the leader of them all, which leads into season 5 and 6, and I've always thought this season was kind of a great bridge from 1 through 3 to 5 and 6. You're bridging from the others, the conflict with the others, the conflict with the others, and kind of like them being alone on the island, just trying to survive, to the whole them finding their purpose and realizing why they're on the island, and the whole dynamic between Locke and Jack, which is sort of mentioned a little bit about how the island is their destiny. It's mentioned in the finale of season 1 by Locke when him and Jack have a conversation, but season 4 was the first time where I really felt it completely, where I see that Locke is like, we need to be on this island, and Jack is just like, I want to get everyone off, which eventually he realizes his true place, and this is really the season that bridges everything together. I love 4. 4 is, like I said, I still enjoy it. The problem with Lost, I've noticed over the years, is as much as I love the series and it's my favorite series of all time, certain points in the series I do get bored with now, which could be why they're lower ranked in my opinion, like seasons 3, 6, 2. But 4 and 1 are the 2 seasons I still enjoy 100% every time I watch them. Now let's talk about 1, my favorite season of all time. And I personally believe it to be the best. No, but I do believe it's the best season of the show. Of course, everything's subjective, it's all opinion. So like I said, it's my favorite season of all time, and here's why. This was a show that really knew how to draw you in from the beginning. The first season hooks us right into everything and introduces us to this island, what it is, who the characters are, and from there, everything is shaped. The entire foundation of where the show is going to go is pretty much shaped. People can say all they want how the show was written as they went along. That may be so in many cases, but there's no doubt that they definitely had certain ideas in mind going forward, such as the monster, their destiny being on the island. But I love a lot of the relationships and just the dynamic, and honestly, the dialogue and interaction is the best part of the season. I know I'm sort of like, I'm almost being not hypocritical, but I don't know what the right word is. I know what the word is on the tip of my tongue, but anyway, because earlier I discussed how a lot of the dialogue, just too much dialogue, too much talking was getting in the way, and that's kind of the case in some seasons, but in season 1, I really did feel like the dialogue is the strongest part. You have dialogue, interactions between characters, banter, and that's honestly, I feel like that's the best part of this season. But then you also have stuff like The Hatch and how the whole plot of Locke and Boone, who are 2 of my favorite characters with their interactions in this season, and seeing how Locke is looking for the sign from the island and how he feels like he's failed after Boone dies, then eventually leads them to the Hatch, everything with the others, just the mystery, the intrigue. Every season of the show is so different from one another. 1 and 2 feel pretty similar, but overall, 1 was a very unique season because it was the first season, and a lot of times the first season is where they're trying to find their voice, and it's the later seasons that are better, such as The Office, Friends, How I Met Your Mother, to reference sitcoms, but like Breaking Bad, Walking Dead, 24, like shows like that. But Lost was a show where from the very, very first season, it had a voice and it had a place and it knew where it wanted to go. And that's why I believe it's one of the best seasons of television ever, and in my opinion, the best season of Lost. The mystery, the intrigue, the interactions, some of the plot lines, and the writing that shaped it all is just amazing. And those are my thoughts on all the seasons of Lost, which are my favorite and which are my least favorite. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this little discussion about each season of Lost. But what do you guys think? What is your personal favorite season of Lost? And of course, what's your least favorite? What do you think are some of the strongest points in the series, some of the strongest elements of the series, and what are the weakest? I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on this. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you haven't yet, go ahead and please comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and it really helps me out. Thank you for watching this new entertainment talk video for Lost Month. Got a few gameplay videos on my gameplay channel coming up for Lost Month, as well as another episode of the Retrospect Lounge, if it's not out already. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next entertainment talk video. Have a great day.